Hello, this is Andy Signor. Hopefully, I'm getting his name right. And he was the creator of Screen Junkies, and he had a good going career. Then he got falsely accused. Then he was fired. Now he's getting a rebirth, and it's pissing off a lot of people who got him fired. They want this man to suffer for no other reason that he's a man. Right. Now, the only thing is, Andy here is a dust yourself off guy. The trouble with dust yourself off guy is that they don't solve the problem. He's supposedly putting pushback against, Me Too. But his real concern is rebuilding status. And that's not how you do pushback. A lot of people think this is a victory. This is not a victory, okay? Now, we'll bring it up. Here he is. He was fired during the criminal Me Too movement. Now he's using YouTube to attack celebrity accusers. Pushback against the criminal Me Too movement and the shifting economics on YouTube has elevated Andy Signor and other online creators to new heights. Right. Exactly. And they talk about how the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial was a gold mine. Why? Because it really opened up the public conscious. NBC News, all these major news outlets lied and tried to depict the victim, Johnny Depp, as the abuser and the abuser, Amber Heard, as the victim. And it opened up a lot of people's eyes. And that's why it was so successful for guys like Signor here, right? They even admit it. It's a particularly impressive run, considering that not long ago, the YouTube-focused company Signor founded Screen Junkies said it had fired him, citing a variety of sexual misconduct allegations, lies. Signor has denied these lies. Right. Very standard. Because men who make these companies don't screen out the man haters. So they come in and buddy up with them and then turn on. Exactly. And he capitalized on the allegations against him, emerging as one of the many popular creators on YouTube, making news-focused content filtered through the war on men. They say cultural war, but what it is, it's a war on men. That's what the culture wars are. It has been become a lucrative endeavor thanks to a shift. Now creators make money on YouTube where donations flow from the audience that don't believe in the Me Too lies. See how the NBC News tries to depict it? Skeptical of the Me Too. No, they're not skeptical. They don't believe in the lies. That's what is going on here. Now, as they talk about Signor covers what he characterizes as an injustice. He doesn't characterize it as justice. It is injustice of the criminal Me Too movement and the criticism he and other men who have been accused of various forms of sexual misconduct have faced in the past 5 years. Good. So they're admitting finally this is a men's issue. The first thing men have to do is admit that it's a men's issue, that men are victims of crimes, and the crimes are sexual in nature. The men are accused of being born men. It's always done by women against men, and there are always allegations that are never proven. Here's another case. Signor, or another point, has been also cultivated a fan base that includes people who identify as survivors of sexual assault and domestic violence. People, are they men or women, who don't believe Heard's allegations against Depp. Some of them have donated to Signor, noting their histories have been abused in comments. Okay, so they're men then. If they're women, it's because they've been lying. But I suspect if it's true, it's men, because men get crapped on when they admit that they're victims of sexual abuse. Right. And of course, but Signore's recent success has been difficult for some of these awful people who worked with him in Screen Junkies, the ones who turned on him, or have appeared with him on YouTube with him after him seen profiting off his own alleged misbehavior. He's not. See, this is a lie here. NBC News is printing a lie. He's profiting off his own victimhood because he is a victim. His bad behavior, if it's alleged, isn't bad behavior, hasn't been proven. And I'm glad he's profiting off it. At the very least, he should make some money. He makes money off victims and says he is one. No, he is a victim. We know it. And he's making money off of exposing you liars. And this is the liar, Ray. Said Ray, who has appeared on live stream on YouTube with Signore, asked her last name be withheld to protect her privacy. People blindly believe him. No, people don't blindly believe him. People blindly believed the mainstream news outlets, and the Heard Depp trial opened their eyes to it. They believe him because he's telling the truth. And this person who wants to protect their privacy. These liars are all the same. They don't want any consequences for their lives. Now, Ray hosted a live stream on her channel that included new accusation that Signore sent unsolicited, screwing that word up, nude photo, blah, blah, blah. I'm not interested in hearing her lie. Don't care. Just another lie. Now, here, Signore's evolution reflects an ongoing pushback against the criminal Me Too movement, as well as the shifting economics on YouTube. Exactly. Which combined with the attention around the Depp Heard trial to elevate Signore. Yeah, exactly. People got their eyes opened by that trial. That's why the feminist organizations are fighting tooth and nail constantly, trying to reverse things. That's why they're doing it. Like, again, they don't care about Heard. They just know that Heard Depp trial represent a shift towards justice for men. And that's why they're like pit bulls with this. They won't let it go. Exactly. Here's some bullshit here. There's this woman, Emily Dreyfus. There's this weird kind of inversion that has been happening where individual people seem more trustworthy than the system. No, Emily, they don't seem more, they are more. Because I have a video showing news outlet after news outlet lying about the Depp Heard trial, painting Heard as a victim when she's the abuser. People know the system is not trustworthy. The system is feminist run. It's man hating. So any man with self-respect doesn't trust the system. That's right. Now, this is important. It shows you how YouTube is silencing men's voices. Matt Jarbo, who is a full-time YouTube creator, he talked about the adpocalypse in response to advertisers' concerns about ads appearing on racist and anti-Semitic videos, right? So in other words, they were going to demonetize anyone, who made these, bad content. Yet they admit down here, the restructuring of YouTube's advertiser tools reined in revenue from many smaller creators, including those whose content wasn't racist or anti-Semitic in the first place. Right. So, like I've said it over and over again, the racist slur or label is just used to silence men. These men might be anti-feminist, or at least making a video that was anti-feminist or pro-male in some way, and they would just demonetize it because they know men are about building their status. They want the money. Luckily for me, I don't care about the status of money. I'm saying it. So their demonetization doesn't hurt me. But that's what they're doing. That's what you take from this. that YouTube made this to silence men's voices. Oh, but I love this. Around the same time, YouTube introduced super chats, a tipping option within the platform chat rooms for viewers to pay creators directly during live streams. If YouTube was smart, it would take that option away, because what it's done is allowed men to make money off of telling the truth. Right. That pushed Jarbo, another creator. I don't care about Jarbo. We'll get into other things that are more important. Now, here's something he admits. Jarbo said the other creators pivoted to reactionary content that fell into the anti-SJW and anti-social justice warriors. In other words, they were anti-feminist, right? Category. Jarbo said he had reflected on and now regrets some of the content he created. So Jarbo is feminist, and he's switching sides. He said he tried to make money off this, and now he hasn't. I expect he wasn't successful, and now he's jumped to the other side. He's a man hater, right? Now, same year, Screen Junkies, the viral YouTube media company Signore created, said it had fired him. Exactly, citing egregious and intolerable behavior. And what is this, egregious, intolerable behavior? Well, he hit on people. He hit on women. After multiple people, women, came forward on social media claiming that Signore made unwanted romantic, sexual advances towards them. So he hit on them, right? Some people accuse Signore of messaging them as fans and asking them for sexy photos or to meet up with them in person. Yeah, he wanted to date. He wanted to date them and engage with sex with them. So he hit on them. And so that's what egregious and intolerable behavior. Right. So we know what that is. That's no different than the words misogynist and all these other ones they use, and racist. They're meaningless. And a person who accused Signore of sexual harassment, said they were working unpaid for Signore when they told them they had mass blah, blah, blah. I'm not listening to her bullshit lie. I'm just pointing out that she was unpaid. In other words, that's her real gripe. Women don't work with men out of kindness of their hearts. Any interaction a woman has with a man, she wants to get paid for. So she felt she was owed. That was all that was going on there. Then they tell some more lies. I'm not going to read through all of these. I'll put this in the description box, so if you guys want to read it, you can, right? Now, Jarbo said he and Signore met around 2018 through a mutual friend. And he said Jarbo, who said some of his own controversy stemmed from his involvement in Gamergate, a historic harassment campaign against women online. Okay, he just told a bold-faced lie. We all know it's a lie. We knew it's 5 years ago. We knew it was a lie. So this Jarbo guy's just a liar now. Now, he said Signore started meeting other fired men. I'm correcting it right now, as he rebuilt his YouTube career. Right. And this is what canceled people are. They're fired men. And this is what I have to say about Signore again. I'm just highlighting. When these men got together, they should have fought for justice. But he didn't fight for justice. He fought to rebuild his status. And again, I'm going to say this is the problem, because it doesn't solve the issues men face. Men have to admit that this is a man's issue, that they're being attacked because of their sex or the way they were born. And they have to fight injustice, and it doesn't work by rebuilding status, by dusting yourself off. I don't have respect for dust yourself off guys, because they let things get worse through their inaction. Here's the other thing. The evidence, Signore here provides evidence. He was doing a rebound press tour saying, I didn't assault this woman. Here's the proof of that. The evidence Signore presented in a YouTube video was a series of previously unpublished communication he alleged were between him and his sexual misconduct accuser that implied a consensual sexual relationship had taken place. Right. So he provided evidence. This woman had nothing to counter with. The woman who had accused him responded that at the time with a statement that her allegations still stand, her lies still stand. We know it's a lie now. He provided proof. She had nothing to counter. She was lying. Right. So that's why these guys should be fighting against Me Too, actually fighting, not just dusting themselves off, right? So we all know, time and time again, we know that this is just lies. And he repeatedly took aim at some celebrity accusers and news outlets like BuzzFeed News. Good, because we all know that BuzzFeed News is feminist garbage. It's a man-hating publication. Now, this is where Signor does do good. He says, concerning like the Depp trial, there's no due process. Signor said in May video comparing himself to Depp. He's completely comparable to Depp. They're both male victims of lies. And one of his accusers to Heard. Every media outlet wanted to jump on it and destroy lives. What he's missing is men's lives. Every media outlet wanted to jump on and destroy men's lives. And that's why no one trusts you, NBC News. Right. So this is the good coming out of Signor's actions, right? Okay. And I want to point out these disgusting people. Signor frequently makes videos mentioning his former co-workers and even their partners, which has resulted in his fans harassing him. In other words, these fans call them the liars that they are. Ray, along with two other former collaborators, that's a good name for him, who asked to remain anonymous for fear of being called out, said Signor has used his platform to harass them and others. No, they haven't been harassed. He used his platform to show that you liars are liars, and people are calling you liars. And of course, I'll pass by more false allegations because there's no point in me covering them. Right. I want to debunk this lie right here. Ray said the size of Signor's platform can make it hard for people to speak out. That's bullshit. That's bullshit, Ray, because my channel is tiny, tiny. And I speak out whenever I feel like it. It's hard to be heard, but it's not hard to speak out. Matter of fact, my channel is hard to be heard, not because it's small, but because the feminist YouTube ghosted it. You have to luck out to find my channel. It has nothing to do with size. He's a bigger content creator. Not everyone is equipped to deal with drama. Not everyone, this Ray person's trying to claim victimhood. Not everyone is equipped to deal with trolls. It's a little intimidating trying to combat a bigger platform. Doesn't intimidate me at all. I speak my mind. And of course, they're calling people who call out their lies trolls. That's a typical strategy for these liars, Ray. Now, this is important too. Is that Dreyfus cited following trust in institutions, including the police and medical community and mainstream media. Well, the police and the media, the mainstream media, are anti-male. So when she says people, in other words, men can't trust the police. And they can't trust the media, which has proven to be untrustworthy, as a driving force for pushing audience towards creators like Signor. That increasingly includes liberal and left-leaning audiences. In other words, men on the left, like I said, are abandoning it because it's feminist run. So some men on the left are grabbing towards anyone who's telling the truth and backing them. But people are going to rely on these individuals more and more to give them information. Johnny Depp is exactly the kind of icon where people can give him support without feeling political. That is the important one I want to point out, this important sentence. Why is it important? Because people it's a men's way of being cowardly. They support Depp as an individual instead of him as representative of a man. See, I'm not into politics. I'm not an NMRA. I'm not a men's rights activist. I'm not fighting for my rights as a man. I'm just protecting a good man like Johnny Depp. So that's actually a loss to me. That is not a victory. Guys hiding the fact that this is a man's issue. They don't want to stand up for themselves as men, as male victims. Men have to admit they're victims because of their sex. Okay? Now, Signore met with Johnny Depp, and it turned out good. The end of Signore's video features a clip of Depp with his arms slung around Signore's shoulders. Depp smiles and kisses in the direction of the camera, then plants a kiss on Signore's cheek. That must have really pissed off all these man haters from Screen Rants. It really must have pissed them off. Though, again, this is a total victory because both Depp and Signores are dusting themselves off. Like I said, he's not really making a stand on men's issues. So he's not really making a stand for himself as a person. He's just upping his status. He's saying, look, here's Johnny Depp's incredibly high status man, and I know him. He will up my status. So that is not a victory. That's a failure. Men have to get over this and start fighting for ourselves as citizens of the country. Thank you.